Well, welcome everyone, and certainly welcome to our Tuesday, October 15th, 2019 Council meeting. Glad there's a number of you in the audience. We quite like that. We have quorum. I just want to identify that Councillor Hergert is regrets. That was identified earlier when we called the meeting to order at 6 p.m. to go in camera. But we are now looking for a motion to rise out of our in-camera, which is moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Shea. Be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby returns to open session of Council at 7:11 p.m. Members of Council calling the question. All those in favour? Opposed, if any? Carried. Councillor Shea, do you have something to disclose?
Yes, I declared a conflict of interest in the closed session meeting, and I've completed a form indicating that, which I'll transfer to the clerk at the break.
Very appropriate. Thank you very much. As Mayor, I want to identify that we did go on camera. We had specific reasons which we identified, and those were the only items that we did discuss in camera. I do have another motion before me coming out of camera, moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Hutchinson. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby appoints the following citizens to the following committees. Local Accessibility Advisory Committee. Jennifer Lang, Cheryl Lindsay, Andrew McLean, Todd Stoddart, Doug Townsend. And West Grey Parks, Recreation, Culture Local Committee for Neustadt, Gary Lynch, or Jerry Lynch. Jerry? Thank you. Any questions on the motion before us? Calling the question, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? The motion does carry. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for that. All right, that takes us off item 5, which was matters arising from closed session. We are now on item 6, which is comment period. Does anyone in the audience wish to comment on an item contained in this agenda? Okay, thanks very much. Item 7, public meetings. There are none for this particular agenda. Item 8 is dealing with Part 1 consent agenda. I have a motion before me, moved by Councillor Townsend, seconded by Councillor Shea. Be resolved that items A1 to B1 inclusive, contained in Part 1 consent agenda, be adopted as amended, and further that authorization be given for the action to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Clerk Turner, could you please speak to the amendment? Okay. So rather than the word amended, it will be as printed. All right. Thank you very much. Questions, comments? Calling, yes, Councillor Hutchinson, please.
Yes, I'd like to ask that we pull the miscellaneous correspondence from our Chief Librarian, Kim Stortz, regarding identifying Library Week, West Grey Public Library Week, October 21st, 25th. So if we could pull that and proclaim that maybe at a later date.
Okay. I could say with exception to C1, and I could have this motion voted on and then look for a 2/3 majority on the miscellaneous correspondence. Clerk Turner, would that work? So that's fine? Okay, thank you. So calling the, yes, please.
It actually should be amended because Clerk Turner sent out a revision to the October 1st minutes earlier today, because they were accidentally omitted from the version that we have in front of us.
Okay. Clerk Turner, please.
I'm fine either way. I did get it amended before this meeting, so sure, amended is fine.
So are we going back to the word amended with more comfort? Sure. All right. Do I need to read the motion, or are we fine? Okay, calling the motion. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. That's the most discussion we've ever had on this section, but that's fine. All right. C1, miscellaneous correspondence. To move this correspondence over to new business, I need 2/3 majority right now. So are we clear on the item? All right. So calling for a 2/3 to pull this item and have further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's fine. It will be moved over to new business, and I'm going to acknowledge that on my agenda right now. C1. Perfect. Okay. Very good. So we are now on part 2, regular agenda, correspondence from, on item 9, communications from mayor and members of council. So I will start, and then I will go over to Councillor Hutchinson after I mention it. First of all, I want to let everyone know, just remind everyone that November 2nd will be the Neustadt Recreation Autumn Craft Sale. It will be at the Neustadt Arena and Hall. It would be a joint part, is that correct? Mr. Chair, thank you very much. November 2nd, 9:30 to 4 p.m. I hope everyone can be there. It's an annual event, which is quite wonderful. I attended the Bentic Plowmen's Association plow match. It was absolutely successful. There were a number of horse teams as well as tractors that were participating in this. Agricultural Week has just finished off, and I do, on behalf of council, want to say a heartfelt thank you to all of our hardworking farmers that raise, produce, and grow food locally and also nationally and internationally, as well as provincially. So thank you for all of your hard work. I also attended the West Grey ATV Club Wing Night, which was a fundraiser for the club. As well, there was another special week, which was Fire Prevention Week, and I attended the open house at the West Grey Ayton Fire Stations open house and learned all about fire prevention and what to do in the event of a fire. And I sat in, yes, Chief, I was in one of the vehicles. Quite enjoyed that, lights and sirens. That was the highlight of the event. I attended the Grey County Federation of Agriculture dinner and AGM where I was asked to speak, and I enjoyed doing that. Just a shout out that our next vision session will be in Ayton, October 29th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Ayton Arena. So Councillor Hutchinson, please.
Yes, a week ago, last Thursday, I guess it was, I had the privilege of being part of the official opening of the new JDSS secondary school. The mayor couldn't make it, so I stepped in on her behalf. And it was a nice service sort of thing, and well attended, and there was it's a beautiful school. It's a real privilege to see a new school in the area, and it's going to be a nice home for our local students. So it was great to be involved in that. Just like to remind people that on the 21st or 25th of this week, we do have the library, Public Library Week, which we're going to discuss later on. And you may hear more about Waste Management Week is also that week. So we may have some activities associated with that. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Councillor Hamilton, please.
So last Friday, I spent a couple hours in the kitchen in Elmwood cooking up wings. It was my first wing night cooking, and boy, do I have appreciation for Elmwood Chamber of Commerce, who've been running these wing nights almost every month for over the whole summer. So big thank you to Elmwood for all the fundraising they do and the community events that they do there, and you can count on me again for next year. And I'm looking forward to Friday, November 1st in Hanover. Grey County is having their annual Egg Conference. They'll be discussing sustainable food systems, innovation, and there'll be tours of local food producers. I did attend this event last year in Meaford. It had such a great impact on me and a great appreciation for all that's coming up in innovation and farming and food production. So I encourage you to attend if you can. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robertson. Couple of things, just referencing the Firefighters Week. One notable that kind of sticks in my mind is the mayor's husband standing there getting a picture when she blew the horn at him.
You had to go there, did you?
Well, it was a sight to see. But to follow up on that, there was one thing that I noticed this morning when I left bright and early, that you could start seeing the stacks of smoke coming out of the chimneys and whatnot, that talking to our deputy chief down there to make sure everybody's checked their carbon monoxide for sure, and obviously their smoke detectors, make sure they're up to speed, if there's any battery changes, etc., make sure they're all operable, because it is that time of year. Other than that, been out in the community a little bit doing a few things. I can tell you that I will be going to Boots and Bling there, and I think it's October 26th, but very active just locally doing other things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Shea, please.
I'd just like to report that as council rep to the Police Services Board, I did attend the conference in Toronto about police services and labor negotiations, which was very informative. But intriguingly, it was on Canadian Mental Health Day, and one of the presentations, actually more like two of the presentations of the 5 presentations I saw, talked about mental health in the police force, and it was very enlightening. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with the board and perhaps with council as well.
Yes, absolutely. Councillor Townsend.
Yeah, first of all, I also attended the JDSS official opening, and on top of what Councillor Hutchinson said, it was really nice to see 2 of the students actually make tribute to West Grey, or should say Grey County people that actually gave their lives as part of the freedom of the Netherlands, Holland at the time. And so they were rededicating the Tulip Garden, and that was quite emotional and well worth seeing. On the same vein, I'm going to challenge council between October 29th and November 9th. The Legion's looking for people to help them sell poppies. So if you have the time, please step forward. They'd love to have you. Also attended the ATV, and prior to that was the meat roll in the Legion. So the Legion's getting very active. They're doing more events. Please support them where you can. Councillor Hutchinson and I are going to the OPG Waste Management Tour that's happening on Thursday. We get to see how they deal with their waste management currently, and also learn about the plans for future disposal of said same. Ayton Optimus is doing a murder mystery on Saturday, and not sure if they even have any more tickets left, but they're a lot of fun. You should enjoy them. If you can get there, please do so. Also, the Thundercats on Friday is their first home game of the season. Sorry to say they lost their opener, but we'll be there to root them and see how well they do. October 23rd is really busy. We have Saugeen Economic Development AGM in the morning. We have a homecoming 2022 kickoff meeting at the Legion, and also the Art Gallery has their AGM in the evening as well. Durham Hospital Foundation is doing their gala, which was what the Boots and Bling are. Always brings in lots of money for our hospital, so please don't hesitate to go if you can. There are tables still available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, now we're on item 10, which is delegations. This is a wonderful item for members of council. This is dealing with the Municipality of West Grey Employee Service Awards. So I don't know whether there are some employees out in the atrium that we could encourage coming in. And then, Madam CIO, would you join me at the front to congratulate our employees? Well, thank you all for being here. This is a very important moment because we're celebrating the Long Service Awards for our very valued employees, whether it's, you're just entering into employment, but then it's the 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20, all the way up to retirement. Just know that you are very valued, and your professionalism and your talent and your time advanced our municipality, and that you are recognized by this council and by all of your peers. So that's very, very important. What's also really important is that you chose careers that I'm hoping that you were all happy with and that you got satisfaction for working in your particular discipline. I do want to congratulate you for your long service and that I'm very proud of each and every one of you. And that goes for all of our council members and our CAO and the municipality. We are very proud of you for your outstanding work. So with that, we have certificates for you, just to express our appreciation. So we'll start off with calling individuals up. We'll give the name, what the title was, and the length of time or length of service. But I want to mention to you, if you could hang around right to the end, we'll do a group shot. And we have our media here that I'm sure would really appreciate that group shot. But it's a moment of time, and it's celebrating your success. So it'd be wonderful if you could be here. So I'm going to read the first certificate. They're all the same, other than, where it's very customized. So it says, on behalf of Council of the Municipality of West Grey, it is my pleasure to extend our appreciation, and this case to Brandon Weber, volunteer firefighter, Normanby Fire Department, 10 years of service. Thank you for your outstanding service, loyalty, and dedication to the Municipality of West Grey. Brandon? Now we have Morgan Kerr, volunteer firefighter, Durham Fire Department, 10 years of service. Lee Nyman, volunteer firefighter, Durham Fire Department, 10 years of service. Matthew Hartman, volunteer firefighter, Durham Fire Department, 10 years of service. So I do want to acknowledge those that are not in attendance, but it's important to acknowledge them. And this is for Chris Spears, volunteer firefighter, Neustadt Fire Department, for 10 years of service. Oh, sorry. In addition, Jason Coker, arena attendant for the Recreation Department. He is not in attendance. Thank you. Lori Murdoch, Accounts Payable Clerk, Finance and Taxation, 20 years of service. Okay. So Tim Cook, he's the road supervisor in our Public Works Infrastructure Department. That's for 20 years of service. He's not in attendance, but it was very important that we acknowledge him. Okay. Randy Murray, the facilities manager for the Durham Arena, 20 years of service. Joyce Nunn for Administrative Assistant, Public Works Department, 30 years of service. Brian Lesmer, volunteer firefighter, Normanby Fire Department, 30 years of service. Darren Neff, volunteer firefighter, Durham Fire Department, 30 years of service. Well done. I'm extremely proud of you. Steve Earhart, utility supervisor, Public Works. Steve has been with us for 30 years. So. Jim Holm, operator for Public Works Department, 30 years of service. Tom Culleton, or the certificate does say Thomas Culleton, Facilities Manager for Ayton, Neustadt, and Normanby, 30 years of service. Keith Peffer, Lead Hand, Public Works Department, and this is for 40 years of service. Chief Phil Schwartz, Fire Chief, 40 years of service. Okay. We're at the point in the program where we're now acknowledging our retirees, and it's absolutely wonderful to see you again, Eunice. So come on up. This is for Eunice Henning, clerical assistant in our administration department. Well timed. It's good to see you again. Yes, you can interview Eunice after. So, very good. Well, Jim Holm, operator, Public Works Department. This is a retirement? Yes. Oh, very good. Yes. Wow. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Well done. Brent, it's so good to see you again. Brent Glazier, our former Director of Public Works and Infrastructure. Well, that is everyone. I wonder if we could take a moment now. Members of council, I'm just going to ask for a temporary recess, and if we could go out in the atrium and take a photo in celebration of this. And congratulations to each and every one of you. All right, members of council, we have come back from our recess. We had a really nice social time out there for a moment taking that photo. We are now on item 11, which is business arising from the previous meeting. That is an NA, unless you tell me different. Good. So we're on staff reports. We'll start with the Director of Finance and Treasurer. There are two items on your report, Director Mighton. The first one is approval of voucher number 19-2019. Any comments?
Just there is two capital items included in there. We've the purchase of the truck chassis of $163,000 and the Newstead Lions Park Pavilion of $107,000. That one, there is a donation coming from the Lions Club of Newstead for that. It was a previous arrangement that they were going to donate back for that, but that is included in the accounts.
Wonderful, thank you. Any questions on this particular item? Councillor Townsend? Councillor Hutchinson?
On page 6 of the unpaid, which is 53 of our package, there is a credit of $944.71, which is against the shed, it looks like, or the, maybe it's a fuel delivery. But anyway, it's minus $944.71. I wonder if you could tell us what that is. Yep. It's under the unpaid section for the council board report.
Are you able to provide more clarity, perhaps, Councillor Townsend, on the specific item?
It looks like it might be McDougall Energy September fuel deliveries. And then it says shed overhead, so I'm not sure. It's on page 6 of that report. And it is about 6 items
There
down.
was a previous invoice that was adjusted for an overcharge.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out something on page 56 under landfill. Sorry. On page 56 under landfill, just wanted to make a note that there was $375 paid out to for people who took household hazardous waste to Own Sound. So, and that's for 3 months, I believe, April, May, June. Someday, if we get our own household hazardous waste trailer, then we would recoup $1,000 plus that is paid out for that service, plus whatever we pay for when we bring the trailer in ourselves. So there is some money out there that we can recoup when it comes to getting our own system in place. So hopefully that'll happen sooner than later.
Agreed. Anything further? Councillor Townsend.
Yeah, on page 60, there was a reference to the Lennox Hall washroom renovation. I just wanted to point out that that in fact is happening. And it's great to see even the older halls get refurbished when and if we can. So
Yes.
I just wanted to
So
make
it's
sure
not
that was
about
clear.
your item.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything further? All right. So I do have a motion before me, and that is moved by Councillor Townsend, seconded by Councillor Shea. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance and Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 19-2019 in the amount of $572,800.85 of the Municipality of West Grey. Questions, comments? Calling the vote on this motion. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. Director Mighton, you have one further item, and that is with respect to the Normanby sidewalks. I'm wondering first if our new Director of Infrastructure and Public Works could respond to that, but prior to that taking place, Madam CIO, you have an announcement.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and it's probably today's worst-kept secret, but I would like to introduce our new Director of Public Works. Vance Rowinski joined us today. It's his first day. Comes to us bringing decades, I think decades is an accurate number, of years of municipal experience managing and directing public works departments, a lot in Northern Ontario, small towns, and his last post was with the City of Brantford. So we're thrilled to have him aboard, and we're going to put him on the hot seat straight away.
Sure. Welcome. And I know you are going to enjoy working for the Municipality of West Grey. We have lots of infrastructure, lots of challenges. This council is very, very good to work with, as well as staff, very professional staff. So you will enjoy your time here. And I just want to say thank you for choosing West Grey. And we do have a question for you. This is in regards to the second item, which is on our Director of Finance and Treasurer's report with respect to the sidewalk capital update. The sidewalk that received approval in our 2019 budget for Normanby, the sidewalk proposed for the school area. I wonder if you are prepared, as I know you are, to comment on this before we entertain this discussion.
Certainly, Mayor Robinson. I just wanted to say that at this particular time in the season, I know that it's a 2019 project, it would be ill-advised to complete that project this year and pour concrete. There's definitely frost on the ground this morning. The weather is going to be unpredictable with respect to frost and precipitation, and as well with it being this late in the construction season as well, staff may find that it's challenging to even find a contractor to do it, and it may be cost prohibitive because right now there's a lot of contractors that are trying to get their work done as well. So to tender this late in the season would not be advised.
Thank you very much for that information. Director Mighton, could you just walk us through what you're proposing here then?
So this item was carried over from the prior year, and we were funding the project in 2019 from the Public Works Reserve. So because the project won't be completed in 2019, we'll carry it forward to the 2019 budget, and it'll be part of the capital presentation that the Public Works will do with that funding coming from the Public Works Reserve.
So the 2020 budget deliberations then. Yes, questions, starting with Councillor Hutchinson.
Yeah, just, it mentions in here that it's delayed until the reconstruction of the school parking lot. Has that been done? The school's been done? Okay, so
Yes.
it's just waiting now for the sidewalk. Okay. All right, good, thank you.
Thank you. Further? Nothing? Okay, so Director Mighton, this is just for information purposes, and you'll roll that into our budget deliberation discussions for 2020, which will start very soon. I know. All right. Well, thank you very much. That completes our Director of Finance Treasurer's report. We are now on to the Clerk's report. And I will just... Oh, flipped right to it. Proposed 2020 Council/Committee of the Whole/Committee of Adjustment and Committee of the Whole Planning meeting dates. Clerk Turner, please.
So I have provided a list of proposed 2020 Council, Committee of the Whole, Committee of Adjustment, and Committee of the Whole Planning meetings, taking into account the various holidays throughout the year as well as the major conferences. If there are too many proposed changes to dates, I think we could deal with it tonight if that's Council's prerogative or directive. Or if there's that many proposed changes, we could also refer it or defer it to the next Committee of the Whole meeting. I do have one requested change from Mayor Robinson, who has noted that the January 14th Council meeting and Committee of Adjustment and Committee of the Whole Planning meeting for January 14th conflicts with some other meetings that are already scheduled. The only suggestion I have, if you wish to deal with that, is I would suggest that it would go to Monday, January 13th. The Wednesday, certainly for planning, the municipal planner would have a conflict, and the following week from the Sunday to the Tuesday is I believe Roma, or one of the major conferences.
Yeah.
Roma, Rural Ontario Municipalities Association Annual Conference, so that would be a conflict as well. So I'm not sure if January 13th would work for Council.
Yeah, that's the Monday, and would that be okay with the members of Council? Councillor Shea?
That's January 13th, Monday?
Yes.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to make that meeting, but don't carry on without me.
You would be okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All right, so if we so note that, are there any other changes? Councillor Townsend, please.
Yeah, I was a little concerned about the Committee of the Whole not having one in December when we have a council meeting on December 1st where something may come out of and we could address it. I'm suggesting it would have to be minor. You wouldn't get into anything major at that time of the year because no one would probably deal with it anyway. But I'm just wondering if we should at least put that on the tentative list in case there was something there. Last year we kind of got away with it because being new to the position, there wasn't a lot before us, but I just have a feeling sometimes people are anxious, right, to get things done.
I don't think we're scheduled for December of this year, are we?
No.
For Committee of the Whole. What I'm going to suggest is we take that under advisement. As we work through later in the year of 2020, we can add it. We can put it as a resolution.
Or
and
see
have
what
the
comes up this
proper-
year even.
Yeah, notification time.
Yep.
Yeah. Would that
Okay.
be suitable?
That's fine.
Okay. Thank you for
Yep.
highlighting that. The clerk has just confirmed there isn't one for this year, but we can watch for that. So thank you for that advice. Councillor Hamilton?
Just to note, another pretty big conference, it won't affect the dates we have, but
Yes.
might be good to have on the list. It's the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Conference. It's in Toronto this year, or 2020. It's June 4th to 7th. So that might be a good one to get on the list as well,
Yep.
since it's so close to here. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much for that. We could get that added. That'll be great. Anything further? All right. Do we have a motion with the amendments? It's coming. Already 2020. Second year of our term. Councillor Townsend.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that
Yeah.
the OSUM conference is April 29th, 30th, and May 1st.
Does that affect anything?
No, just that you had it listed with a May question mark, but I can tell you it is April 29th, 30th, and the 1st.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to toss this down here, see if there's a mover and seconder. The motion reflects the changes. Madam CIO, would the dates be put on the website and a news and notification, and how would that unfold? Or Clerk Turner, whatever.
Yes, we do put all the meeting dates on the website, and certainly we can send that through news notices.
Okay, now I'm looking for procedural direction. Clerk Turner, I have the motion before me. Is it necessary to go through all the dates, or you're fine too procedurally? All right, then procedurally, we're okay if I don't go through the dates. Would you be okay with that? Thank you for that latitude. So moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Townsend. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the dates as identified for the 2020 Council, Committee of the Whole, Committee of Adjustment, Committee of the Whole Planning meetings as we discussed with the appropriate amendments. Is that suitable then? All right, suitable for everyone? Calling the question on the motion before us. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Thank you. All right. Clerk Turner, that is the only item on your report. Well done for getting this completed in advance for us. So we're on bylaws. I'll start them down here, Deputy Mayor. So we're dealing with item 13, which is proposed bylaws for first, second, and third reading. The first one before us is 81-2019. I'll just wait for that to return. Thank you. That's just waiting. This first one? Two. All right, well, I could start this. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Hutchinson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 81-2019, being a bylaw to establish a site plan control area for lands described as Plan 507, PT Reserve, RP 16R8061, Part 1, in brackets 437 Garofraxis Street South, end of bracket, geographic town of Durham, in bracket, 1872992 Ontario Inc., end of bracket, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Questions? Clerk Turner, please.
So there was a question posed at the Committee of the Whole Planning asking what the part reserve description, part of the legal description meant. I don't have an answer at present, but however, when the site plan agreement is brought forward to council, the solicitor or the municipal solicitor has to review the site plan agreement, provide make sure the legal description is accurate, probably provide a PIN number, for instance, and then also identify for certain the ownership as well as if there's any mortgages on the property. So I will have an answer at that time.
Satisfactory? Okay. Thank you very much, Clerk Turner. Calling this motion, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Okay. Moved by Councillor Townsend, seconded by Councillor Shea. Be it resolved that bylaw number 82-2019, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a winter maintenance services agreement between the Municipality of West Grey and Integrated Maintenance and Operation Services, Inc., and in brackets IMOS, operating under the name of Owen Sound Highway Maintenance Limited, in brackets, repeals bylaw number 67-2019, end of bracket. Be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Clerk Turner.
So as council may recall, there was direction to, and then an opinion from the municipal insurer provided that recommended the municipality be added as an additional insured, and that there would be a hold harmless and indemnification clause added, as well as a minimum $2 million liability for automotive. I did note, though, that the actual original agreement does have that $2 million liability in there, so maybe that was missed by the municipal insurer. So I did forward a letter to Greg Smart, the operations manager for the Owen Sound Highway Maintenance, and I did end up speaking to Mr. Smart on the phone, who indicated that it was vetted through their legal, their solicitor, and the solicitor indicated that they would not support those amendments. I did ask Mr. Smart to provide a letter to that effect from their solicitor. Well, I did not get a letter at this date from the solicitor themselves. I did get an email today from Mr. Smart confirming that they had spoken to legal and they wanted to keep the wording as is in the connecting link agreement as it's set out originally. This has been discussed with staff, and there really is no option at this point for maintenance of this portion of the connecting link. So I would recommend that council passes this bylaw, and that perhaps the new director of infrastructure can assess possible options for next year, but there really is no option. And the agreement, as you may recall, as it states, it is to commence today. So certainly we haven't had any snow to date. Mr. Smart did indicate if there was snow, they would probably they would do the snow removal in the interim, but obviously not for very long. So again, I would recommend this be passed as is, and then it would be options be looked at in the future.
Okay, very good for that. Any questions or comments? Okay, I'm calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? It carries. Thank you, members of council. Appreciate that. So we're dealing with proposed bylaw 83-2019, moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Be it resolved that bylaw number 83-2019, being a bylaw to rescind the appointment of the former Director of Infrastructure and Public Works for the Municipality of West Grey, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the Mayor and Clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Any comments? Calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? It carries. One moment. Do you want to mention it? Go ahead. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to mention that for the appointment bylaw, I've just asked for another seconder so that the appointment for you could flow through. So this is moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Shea. Be it resolved that bylaw number 84-2019, being a bylaw to appoint officials to various committees of the Corporation of the Municipality of West Grey, in brackets, amends bylaw number 75-2019, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the Mayor and Clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Clerk Turner, please.
So for council's consideration, matters arising from closed session, there was the appointment of citizens to the Local Accessibility Advisory Committee. It may be in order to consider appointing an official, a member of council, to that committee. So that's something you may want to discuss and put forward, and if so, that could be an amendment to this bylaw to add that individual.
Yes, I think the timing is quite appropriate. I would certainly put forward the name of Councillor Shea for the Accessibility Advisory Committee. Unless there's anybody else that would like to step forward, I think this is a very suitable appointment, and I would very much appreciate if you would accept that. Thank you very much for that. Councillor Townsend.
That Councillor Shea actually seconded the bylaw amendment, so you may have an issue there.
Yeah, why don't we change it, because we've added that. That's actually a very good point, Councillor Townsend. So it would be... It's okay, Clerk Turner for the microphone then, please.
It's not mandatory that you change that. The motion's been introduced and it's been amended. So I think it's in order. There's really no conflict. It's an appointment. Just like the other officials' appointments that were passed at the last meeting, for instance.
Okay, so thank you always for clarity. I appreciate that. And certainly thank you to the clerk for the further clarification on that. And members of council, so I am calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Oh. All right, so I'm going to call the question again then. Is that what you'd like? Oh. Please do, yeah.
Sorry for the confusion.
No problem.
I'm easily distracted. So I did want to bring up the nomination of my honorable colleague to this position. I note that in the meeting where this committee was created, Deputy Mayor Hutchison did introduce a motion to table the resolution, the motion that was going to ultimately form this committee. And I was a little bit concerned about what sort of message we would be sending to the citizens on the committee and the citizens generally if a member who is suggesting that we table the decision to form a committee ends up being the council representative of that committee. I don't think that there's any issue with the individual. I think Deputy Mayor Hutchison will be a fine person to take this on, so I'm not in any way objecting to this. But I did want to discuss briefly the idea of introducing a motion to table. A motion to table does two things. In this case, it would have suspended an initiative to engage citizens more fully with us in a discussion about an issue which has been brought forward by many citizens. Furthermore, the motion to table also stymies discussion here at the council table. There can be no discussion of an issue after a motion to table. The other kind of motion that has that sort of effect is a motion to call the vote. We have had motions to call the vote by Councillor Hutchison in the past when conversations have been long and drawn out and starting to go around in circles a little bit. And I understand at that point that a motion to stop discussion and get on with it is completely in order. But introducing a motion to table when not every member of council has yet had an opportunity to speak to the issue seems to me to be ending the conversation prematurely. Our current procedural bylaw has the motion to table structured this way, and I can't prevent anyone or even suggest to anyone that they not introduce a motion to table. I would just like to point out that in my opinion, I will only ever use motions to table carefully and after everyone at the table has had an opportunity to speak. So we're still getting to know each other a little bit, and we're still sort of learning all the rules of this game. So I just wanted to have that brief discussion and wish the Deputy Mayor well in his new position.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Certainly when a vote is called for council, whether, despite your position and whether your position or your vote was with the majority rules. And then once that vote has been called, and that is, the majority was to establish this committee. So as members of council, we then follow through on the majority of council, as if it was our own vote. So I think that that's really important, that that although there was some differing of opinion, there was some different discussion, that at the end of the day, when the vote was cast, the majority voted in favor of the committee, and that we all accept that and move forward in a very positive manner. The tabling, and I don't want to belabor this, but it was called during the time where the motion was already on the floor, so that there was already discussion that had occurred, and then there was the motion was introduced to table. So there was lots of discussion that did occur. It is an opportunity within the procedural bylaw to do that. And I think also I want to say that if I remember the speaker, and certainly if you want to speak, but if we we're at the bylaw stage, so I would be looking at calling the vote. But it wasn't that, in particular, that was not in favor of the committee, but just that there would be some more work done by staff. So certainly by our new Director of Infrastructure and Public Works would have had the opportunity to address speeding and our issues in with regards to some of the delegations that have come forward, and also our Chief of Police to have the opportunity. So rather than sort of leapfrogging over our standard procedure for reports, it went to a vote at the appropriate time for a committee. So at the end of the day, whether we're dealing with this committee or another item before our council, it's the final vote by the majority of council. If we're lucky enough to get a unanimous vote, that's one thing. If it is a vote that just is on the majority, that's fine, but we all speak from the same minutes and resolutions. So that's really important. So thank you for that opportunity. And with that, I would like to call the question. All right? Thank you. All those in favor of this amended bylaw? All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those opposed? The motion does carry and the bylaw does pass. Okay, thank you. So we're dealing with proposed bylaw 85. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, seconded by Councillor Hutchinson. Be it resolved that bylaw number 85-2019, being a bylaw to rezone a portion of the subject lands described as Part Lot 25, Concession 6, Geographic Township of Bentic, Municipality of West Grey, from I, institutional, zone to A2-408, rural exception, that's in brackets, zone, and in brackets, Moloch Christian Fellowship, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Clerk Turner, please.
The proposed bylaw has been recommended for approval by the Committee of the Whole Planning.
Further? Okay, calling the vote on this particular bylaw. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. So are we on the last bylaw? We're on our last bylaw. Proposed bylaw 86. Moved by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Townsend. Be it resolved that bylaw number 86-2019, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the October 15th, 2019 council meeting, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. Are there any questions on this particular bylaw? All right, calling the vote. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carries. All right, that completes our bylaws. We're under new business, and Councillor Hutchinson, you did move that C1 from our miscellaneous correspondence. Kim Stoltz, CEO, Chief Librarian, West Grey Public Library, request for West Grey to proclaim the week of October 21st to the 25th, 2019 as Ontario Library Week. Do you have further comments?
Not too much, just it would be, I think, fitting for us to designate it as Ontario Library Week. There is a library board meeting tomorrow night, and so I'm sure they will probably be looking at planning some activities for that week, hopefully to coincide. So I think it'd be a good gesture on behalf of council if we proclaim that week Ontario Library Week.
Yeah, and thank you very much for bringing this forward. Clerk Turner, do you have a motion to the effect for the proclamation of this special week?
I do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for preparing that. Moved by Councillor Hutchinson, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. How fitting, our two appointees to the Library Board. Thank you. Be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby proclaims the week of October 21st to the 25th, 2019 as Ontario Library Week. Further comments or questions? Calling the question, a vote. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. And I want to say carried unanimously on this one. I think that's important. Thank you. Are there any other new business item? Clerk Turner to start.
The October 8th Committee of the Whole Planning had a resolution which I did not get on the consent agenda in time. I finished up the minutes, I think it was yesterday. Concerning, they recommended approval of a 2-year extension of draft plan approval of the draft plan of subdivision 42T 97005. The owners are now Mr. Karan Sakhan and some other partners, but it's known as the Gemet subdivision in Neustadt. So that has been recommended for approval by the Committee of the Whole Planning, and I would suggest that Council entertain a direct motion to that effect.
Okay. So do I need 2/3 on this one, or are we okay? Oh, at the direct motion. Thank you. Active listening is really important. All right. Any other new business? I'm looking to my right and then to my left. Nothing at this point? All right. Well, thank you very much. Addendums? Clerk Turner, seeing none. Item 16, notice of motion, direct motion. Yep. All right. So I'm looking for a 2/3, and would you like to move this one? Is that your indication?
Yes.
Yes. So,
I would
okay. So
move that
I'm.
we introduce.
Yeah, that's okay. We're all very anxious and procedurally for sure. So I'm just introducing this item for a 2/3 majority vote. Okay, are we clear on what we're voting on? Okay, calling the question on this. Opposed, if any? Carried. I'm going to put it over to you, Councillor Shea, because you indicated I would suggest there would be, so that motion did carry, so thank you. Thank you. So moved by Councillor Shea, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. Resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby supports a 2-year extension of draft plan approval for draft plan of subdivision 42-T-97005 to January 8th, 2022, as recommended by the Committee of the Whole Planning. Questions or comments? Councillor Hutchinson.
I just have a procedure question. In the directions from this direct motion, it says that members shall read the proposed motion, copy to the clerk. The clerk shall include the motion in the agenda of the next regular council meeting under new business. But we're including it in this council agenda.
Thank you for your question. Clerk Turner.
I believe that would refer to the notice of motion. A direct motion would be introduced by 2/3 majority during this council meeting.
Okay, right, so notice of motion.
Yeah, if it's a notice of motion, it's introduced and then brought forward under new business at the next council meeting. This would be a direct motion which is introduced at the same meeting.
Okay, all right, it doesn't say that in there, but yeah, okay, that's.
Should say that. I'll check.
Yeah.
Okay. So no, thank you for that clarity. I think it's really important to show the distinction for that, Councillor Hutchinson, so we appreciate it. I have not called the question. Clerk Turner, please.
And just to clarify, the motion reads supporting the 2-year extension. It's actually the County of Grey that approves the extension. But this, if it's passed, it'll be forwarded to the county for their consideration.
Okay. Further? All right. So on this motion, calling the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? It does carry. Okay, thank you. All right, any other direct motions? No? All right, thank you, Clerk Turner. Item 17, closed session, incomplete items only. So there are none. We achieved our closed session earlier. Item 18, matters arising from closed session, incomplete only, NA. Question period under item 19. Are there any questions? No, everybody's shaking their head no, so there's no questions. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying the whole meeting duration. Appreciate that. Yeah, okay. Item 20, municipal act notices, Clerk Turner? Not at this time. Who would like to move a motion to adjourn? Councillor Townsend and Deputy Mayor. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Does carry. Thank you. All right, well done. That's a very early night.